Now, we are going to have a guest.
We are indeed, and once again with an agricultural theme in the key 10 o'clock spot, and fills me with great pride having been involved in the industry for a long, long time. Recently went up to Speed, Neil, as we spoke about recently, and on the way up to Speed...
Did you get up to Speed?
I got up to Speed, all right.
Yeah.
I kept passing these big truckloads of hay
Hey.
heading down south. Now, I remember a time where there was lots of truckloads of hay that were heading north because the New South Wales farmers were in serious trouble, and now things are coming the other way, and that what makes Australia a wonderful place. And to explain it all, how it all works, Australian hay runners, Linda Widdup, good morning, and welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Good morning, guys.
Thanks for joining us, Linda. This is Neil, the other one's Rob, the one you've already had a chat to.
Yep.
We, as I mentioned to you when we were arranging this conversation, we love to hit hard with the journalistic questions first up. So you ready for it?
Go for it.
Where did it all start?
Okay, well, basically it started late 2019 in December. I was just sort of, been on Facebook looking around and kept saying how bad New South Wales was with all these droughts and fires and what have you, and I thought to myself, we can't not do anything. So basically I put a call out, and I'd never done a hay run in my life, and ended up with 4 truckloads of hay and heaps of stuff, for the people, because they were doing it hard as well. And on the 21st of December, we took up a beautiful big, Christmas dinner plus as much hay as we could, and it just went from that. And from that little post of just putting it out there, let's help our farmers, has grown into one mammoth group of people doing the most wonderful job of helping all our farmers.
And, I suspect there has been some one-off activity similar to this, when there's been a bushfire or whatever, but this is an ongoing activity, isn't it not?
It is, yes. It seems to be, we might go quiet, well, over COVID we went quiet. We couldn't sort of do much there, but once we were allowed to, cross borders and do things, we really haven't stopped. We have been flat out with mainly bushfire, flood and extreme weather events.
And there seems to be a lot more of them recently, and that's a debate for another day, but the fact that people are ready to fall in behind and rally and support, but most importantly, of course, the reversal of this, when you were helping out the New South Wales farmers, you're probably not one bit surprised that when the opportunity came to return the favour to the farmers in the southwest of Victoria, who are now in this unusually dry position and need a lot of this sort of hay because milk production is that type of industry, the call to arms has been pretty easy by the sound of it.
Yeah, well, I got rung up by one of our locals and said, what can we do? And we were we're always forward thinking, we're always planning, where we're going to be and what we're going to do, and we had runs on the go, but within a couple of days we were able to get this run together, and luckily, because hay's getting quite hard to get down here in Victoria, we were doing a run to Pallamallawar, so we had a farmer up there jump on and go, come up here, we'll look after you, and we ended up with 17 bales of beautiful fresh haylage that we got down, and then we also started getting bales of vetch and oaten, and we also got some tailings. So, we were very blessed there to sort of get what we could as quickly as we could, and it was absolutely beautiful, fresh product. It was really good for the animals.
Now, Linda, just to explain, in the early days, a lot of the hay was, its circumstances different. Some of the hay was donated, some of the transport was donated, some of the individuals who drove the truck donated their time. But is it? It's a different method that people can get involved. They might sell the hay at a reduced cost, to make it, whatever the case may be. But it's just a mixture of different ways of making it easier for these people to get hold of product that they desperately need.
Yes, exactly. We've got some farmers, one particular guy in Katandra, he's going to help us out with, we're going to buy his whole complete shed of hay, so he's just going to purely do it for Aussie hay runners so that we can go there, and at any such time, we're needed to go somewhere, we've got hay sitting there.
So with in my head, I've had limited experience living in what we might call proper regional Australia, because living in Geelong is regional Australia, but not really,
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
And I would have thought that, if there's a flood in a town, everyone gathers together and supports each other. That's what small towns do. I guess this is kind of the same spirit, but on a national basis.
Well, you know what? We're here to help everybody, and basically the way we organise it is you've got to get on-ground staff from that town, on-ground people, locals, because nobody knows their community like a local. So basically, you get onto those people who can then help us get it out to the ones that need it, the most.
The also the skill level, as I said, there's drivers, there's trucks, there's people with hay, and then you've got to have it ready to be received at the other end, someone to unload it all. From where you sit, coordinating this, it might have been initially a bit of a problem, but are you at the stage now where everything just runs very, very smoothly?
It does. You know what? When I first started, honestly, a few times it was like, oh, why am I doing this? We went from 4 trucks to 13 trucks now to 74 trucks. That's what we have. And, we've got a big run coming up at the end of this month. There'll be, 54 trucks, I think, heading back Grafton way. And it can be a logistical nightmare, but my boys are, I give them plenty of notice so that we know exactly what we're doing. We're very lucky. We work with the Rural Assistance Authority in New South Wales. So they give us a subsidy for fuel to help us, because these runs are 1,500 kilometres each way. So we're very lucky that they help us with the fuel. But when we do the Victorian runs, either what we get through donations with Aussie hay runners, we can use that as to put some fuel in the trucks. We also get a lot of donated hay, so we can get round Victoria to get it out there to people.
And notwithstanding old mate up at Katandra who's helping you out, I would have thought that there'd be some farmers who say, look, I can give you 5 bales of hay or I can give you 10 bales of hay. It must be a logistical nightmare just to collate it and get it on the truck in the first place.
Well, actually, you would think, but it's not, because I have drivers all over Victoria and even in New South Wales. So the ones that are closest, I always go, listen, can you nick up to Horsham and such and such has got, we got 3 loads of oaten hay out of a gentleman in Horsham. So I was lucky. I've got trucks up that way. So and it works out really great, because 9 times out of 10, you just say to the farmer, look, is it okay if it just sits there for another whatever time? We've got a hay run going then. Yep, no problem. Up the boys go, load up, have a bit of brunch with the farmer, and away they go.
I suspect the other good thing is that most farmers have got more space to store stuff like that than I have in my garage at home. So leaving it sitting on the farm for another few weeks doesn't really hurt their space too much.
No, and a lot of them, if there's going to be rain or whatever, they'll bring it, further up at the gate, so that, our trucks might have to pull up on the road and get loaded that way. But we always make sure that, that the hay's there or whatever, so that it is accessible, and they put hay caps on it for us and all that sort of thing. So, 99% of the time we've got absolutely beautiful hay heading up to wherever we need to go.
Hey, Linda, let's go all the way back.
Well done. Hey, Linda. Well done.
Linda. Oh, yeah, there you go. I
good
made
stuff,
it funny.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way back. You personally, let's take the success of the project. You personally, your involvement. What was it that got you in?
Passion for farming, passion for people that do it, passion for, the beautiful produce that these guys give us, whether it be milk, meat, whatever. It's the thing to just make sure that in our own way we can help people.
So what's your own farming background?
Just beef cattle. We're down in the Otways with beef cattle, and I've done a little bit of, dairy work and all that sort of thing, but it's just really, people on farms, normal people don't understand where things come from. You ask kids, where did your milk come from? Cows. No, it doesn't come from cows. It comes from cows.
Sorry, does it?
And that dairy farmer's out there, when calving season comes, he's up at all hours of the night checking that everyone's calving okay, and there's everything's running right. People have no idea what goes on in the bush.
And so these farmers who are receiving the support of your organisation and your activity,
yep.
Do they pay anything for the hay that arrives?
No, we don't ask for anything, but I will say the hay that we have taken down to the southwest, I have never ever seen donations come in like it.
And roughly for, obviously Rob knows this and you know this, but if I was to go and buy a bale of hay, one that is delivered to my farm, what am I paying roughly normally?
Well, at the moment, so we got beautiful big bales of vetch. Now, they're around $220 a bale each, which we didn't pay. We were very well looked after there. And yeah, so look, round bales, just for a round bale of your grass hay, your pasture hay is around the $100, $120. It's getting up there because it's getting very hard to find.
Yeah, probably the easiest way is call it per tonne, and I suppose that's now upwards of $300 per tonne for general quality. And when you're talking about vetch and oat and hay, and lucerne, you're getting absolute premium, and that could be as much as $500 a tonne by those numbers you're giving us there before.
Yep, it is. It's up. I think lucerne's up around the 420, 430, and I think if you're getting, export oat, and I think it's up around the 300, bit more.
So it's not as though you're slinging them a voucher to go up and get themselves dinner at the local pub. This is serious donations being received by farmers who are doing it tough.
Yes, yep. And just people when we do a run, our Facebook page blows up with people tagging us in. I saw all the trucks today. We've had, people pull up beside us and give us money, reach out to the truck drivers or, here's $100, here's this and that. With people at the pubs, we try and support small pubs and wherever we can get the trucks, we try to support those towns as well. And you'll have people just come over and give you money. It's amazing. And all that gets put straight into our little fund because we are a project of the Hayfield Lions Club. So all our money goes straight into their account, and when when I go out and find the hay or whatever I'm doing, I just say we get invoiced and we send it to Scott at Hayfield there, and he fixes it up, and the boys go pick up, and away we go.
Linda, I know that it's called hay runners, but I also know that dairy farmers use a lot of grain to produce the milk that they do. Has grain come into the your list of product you move?
Not really. We don't have tippers and things like that. We basically try and take good quality hay so that we can, everybody, whether it be, if we, when we did Grafton a few years ago, Sally Power, who's our girl on ground up there, she said to me, Linda, we've got dairy farmers that are absolutely in critical need of good vetch, this and that. And we sourced that. We took quite a few loads of vetch up there. So, we try and take what is needed, but sometimes it's not always easy to access it.
As you know, Linda, I've been talking recently with some farmers at an event, and one of your representatives fronted up, and one of the guys on the floor asked the question. Farmers are proud people, and some, I reckon, would find it really difficult to put their hand up and say, can I get a few bales of hay for my farm? How do you get past that whole idea of, mate, here's some hay, take some?
Okay, well, that lovely gentleman that you met, that was Peter Wasrich. He's one of the right-hand men on the job with us, and the thing with what you're saying is 9 times out of 10, when you've got a farmer that's like that, it'll be their neighbour that'll ring you. They'll go, listen, I'm on Mitchell Road and my neighbour next door is really struggling, but he just won't put his hand up. So then we will try and, send a load to his place, and it gets shared out amongst those 2 or 3 farmers in that area. Sometimes, we are lucky enough to get the people's number, and you ring them, and they're just, it's just unbelievable, the reaction. It really is.
Because there'd be a few of those guys that say, yeah, but, old mate up the road, he's in a worse state than I am, go to him. It just strikes me that whole pride thing, and I don't mean that in a negative sense in any way, shape or form, would sometimes make it really difficult for them to receive.
Well, I always say to them, you are just as eligible as anyone else. So, all right, if you don't want, we try and work it out at 10, like if there's, 33 bales or 34 bales or whatever's on the truck, and we can, do a farm drop, we try to give them 10 or 11 bales each, do you know what I mean? And so I say, this is not a handout. This is a hand up for you to be able to just get yourself through this thing because, there's a lot of stress associated with where the hell am I going to get a load of hay? How am I going to pay for it? Like, especially when tragedy strikes and you just, the poor buggers have got to go into damage mode, and sometimes money doesn't stretch as far, but we've got it there. Just take this. Even if it helps you for a few weeks, it'll give you time to get your plan into action, and let's go from there.
Based on that, 10 or 11 bales of hay, it's a couple of grand that they don't have to find.
It is.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. And and if we see someone that is really, really struggling, because 9 times out of 10, we always end up going back. So I will ring that person and go, listen, how are you going out there? We've got one of the boys popping past, he'll just drop you off a few more and they'll ease into it, you ease it. And Linda, that would be fabulous. Thank you. And you go out there. We don't just drop hay off. We get out there, we chat with them, a few of the boys get thrown in the buggy and taken for a drive around the farm. And, there's other ones like we have a driver in Shepparton. His name's Don Sopra, and he's the only truck driver I know that the farmers' wives make baked cheesecake, roulades, all these beautiful foods. He always and he posts photos all over the thing so all the other drivers see. So whenever Don's on the runs, everybody wants to go with him because he gets so spoiled. But that's their way of giving back. Do you know what I mean? We have ones that, even though they're absolutely flat on their bums and they, there's just everything's ruined, they'll go and give them a dozen eggs. And I always say to the boys, just take them because that makes them feel better. And that the boys love it, We all love it. It's just a really heartwarming group to be a part of. And, I have such wonderful guys and girls on board that it just makes my job on this, this side of it so much easier.
It's an interesting point you make, Linda. From my experience in agriculture, one of the important things is the kitchen is the best way to say thanks. Sometimes you just want to do something and there's nothing, but just the presentation of a meal or a packed lunch to go with you. As I said, even a dozen eggs. Those things, that's very agricultural of saying thank you. I appreciate what you've done, and it's a good story. It's been going for many, many years, and in a situation like this, it would come to the fore again. I love it. It's a beautiful way to say thank you indeed.
Oh, look, and and we love getting out there and doing it. Sometimes just having someone else, come to the farm and drop off the hay, or even if we do depot drops and the farmers come in, we're lucky, we have Lions Club come out and they do breakfasts, so the farmers will wander over. And a lot of my guys are farmers as well, so you've got you've got diesel mechanics, you've got demolition guys, you've got farmers, you've got, everything, all walks of life, and they all, stand around and have a chat and, to see that bloke just wander back off to his ute, he's got his half a dozen bales on, and you can see, I've made someone's day here, and I think that's sort of, a very big thing of being in Aussie hay running.
I think the other thing too that gives an opportunity for the town or the area that you're going to, we've talked a lot about things like agricultural shows or the local footy or whatever. When the Aussie hay runners come to town, I suppose it can be something of an event as well. People come into town, get to see each other, catch up on the goss.
Well, talking about that, I've had a lovely, lovely lady by the name of Julie Phillips. She owns the Albion Hotel in Casterton. Now, we are looking at going up to Casterton because they are in green drought, and I've been liaising with one of the farmers up there. So Julie has and her crew have put their hands up. We're going to do a bit of a do with the Aussie hay runners and invite all the farmers in. just to come in and, you know, meet us all, you know, put the young kids up in the trucks and get some photos and, you know, have a bit of a drink and a nibbly at the pub and, you know, just give them a little bit of relief, you know, away from the farm and stuff like that. Give them their hay and have a great night. So that will be our next little Victorian venture.
Well, don't tell Rob the date because he'll be there hanging around wanting to get in the truck.
Well, I would love to get in the truck. Just to explain an interesting point you made there about a green drought, for those that normally think Australian drought, it's dry, it's barren, it's dust, but a green drought, which we tend to have down here a lot, where there's a little bit of rain, the grass starts to grow, the paddocks look green, but there's not enough water to sustain growth, and while things look good, nothing's actually moving, so the stock don't have anything to eat. So hay is important, and that green drought gives a perception that isn't reality.
Exactly right. And like just talking with the young fellow I did the other day at Casterton, he was just saying to me, he goes, like now, yes, they're in trouble up there. He goes, but it's the next 2 to 3 months that are really, if they don't get the rain, they are going to be in horrible trouble. And I just said, look, keep me informed. Let's work together on this. So it gives me a bit of time to, you know, find some hay. And, you know, because it is very important when it's at this stage that there is no real green pick for the animals, you can't just go in giving them, like, you know, straw and stuff like that. They do need good hay. And, you know, by then our guy up in Shepparton area, he will have his hay ready for us to go, so we can certainly take some good stuff up there. So, and
the important thing is too, if we don't get that spring, then the farmers can't cut hay to fill their sheds that are well and truly empty, and then this time next year, the problem will be much, much worse than it is. So we keep looking skyward. I know Neil jokes a lot about the Goldilocks moment of agriculture. When is it the right amount of rain? But at the moment, any amount will be greatly accepted.
And the worst thing is, Linda, you've not met Rob, or you haven't met me for that matter, but Rob has this habit of when we need rain, he gets naked and goes and stands in the main street of small towns and dances. And we please send the rain for that reason.
Well, we have a little running joke with Aussie hay runners. We were doing up New South Wales Scone. Anyway, those poor buggers, they'd had no rain. And then, so we were going, we got put off because it got absolutely poured on. So that was the first time we got postponed. Then we made another date. The day before we were going to leave, we had to postpone. So we always say we take the Aussie hay runner rain gods with us. So
it's a bit like washing your car.
Yep.
Hay run, and it might work out a good thing.
No, good stuff.
Well, Linda, we have just about run out of time, but one thing I did want to ask you, when your mate was presenting the other day, he put up a slide and I didn't take the details down. I'm sure that if there are people listening who go, what a great organisation, I'd love to support them financially, or we might have some farmers who are interested in donating some hay, how do they do that?
If they hop onto our Aussie Hay Runner Facebook page, our phone number's on there. If anyone wants to donate hay, it will be gladly received. We've got a lot of Victorian farmers that need a hand. And if you want to donate monetary-wise, there is a pinned post with Hayfield Wines Club. They can just click on that and all the details are there to put your funds in.
So that's on the Facebook page, which is Aussie, as in AUSSIE, Hay,
Yep.
HAY Runners, yeah?
Yep, that's it.
Linda, thanks for putting the phone down from a whole lot of farmers and picking it up to talk to us this morning. It's a really good story and an organisation that we should all be really proud of, and because it comes from our region, Rob. That's the other thing, down in Carlisle River there. So well done you, and whatever we can do to help you, just let us know.
Good on you. Thanks very much for your time, guys.
Well done, Linda. Love what you do.